Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA, and this is going to be a recap on Rockhold vs. Branch, Fight Night 116, I think, whatever fucking number it is. And I'm going to be having a full depth recap analysis of Canelo Triple G with the homie Scrap Pack's own Jamari. So shout out Left Coast and all that. That's going to be coming soon. And yeah, that's going to be talking about everything about that fight and just everything, like totally fucking dissecting and completely in depth. So that's going to be coming soon. And I promised the homie that I wouldn't do any recap without him when it comes to Canelo Triple G. So I'm not going to touch that until we do that video. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming soon. But right now I'm going to be talking about Rockhold Branch. I'm going to start off from the top. Man, fucking, I'm just gonna be honest about it, and I'm gonna give my honest, unadulterated opinion, and just say it how I feel like it is. You know what I mean? Shit, I'll just start it, bro. I feel like the game passed Luke Rockhold by. I'm sorry. I feel like, and I have nothing against Luke Rockhold. I used to like Luke Rockhold. It's not that I don't like him anymore, but it's like his ego surpassed his skill set. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. He has an amazing skill set, but his ego and, his personality, I find his personality to be extremely fucking dry. Like, I feel like he's the type of dude that, like, he only gets girls because of his looks. You know what I mean? It has absolutely nothing to do with personality. And he probably can't keep chicks for a long time because his shit is just so fucking dry. He seems like he's supposed to be like down to earth and chill, but like when you hear him talk, it's like, I wouldn't really want to hang out with him. At first it's like, oh, he might be a cool guy. I might like want to like smoke something with him, drink something, chill out. But when you hear him in his interviews, at least, I'm just going based off of interviews and press obligations and whatever we as the fans hear from him, that shit is dry, man. Even if you try to sit through a Luke Rockhold interview, it's like, fuck, man. Damn, my guy, like sprinkle some sazon or some seasoning on there. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is so fucking just boring and dry, and it's just, I'm just on another level. I have the best ground game. I have the best top game. There's not a position that anybody could do any better than me, and I'm just on a whole nother level. I'm a ninja, and it's like, okay, Luke, that's cool, but that's cool to make those things, but it's like he's trying to be Conor, but he can't. It's like it's like the difference between a good actor and a bad actor. And I'm not saying anything like, oh, it's an act, but what I mean by that is when someone gets a script, it's all about how you deliver it. You know what I mean? So if you take the same exact thing Conor says and you don't deliver it with like that flamboyance and personality, it's not gonna work. And I feel like that's Luke's problem, because he tries to deliver that fucking definite, I'm the GOAT, I'm a whole nother, these people can't stand with me kind of shit, but it's just like really fucking dry. And he made no improvement defensively. I mean, like, what was it? At the 3:59 mark, like a minute, like 61 seconds went by, and Branch started clipping him up. You're telling me the Renzo Gracie black belt was clipping up Luke Rockhold on the feet? And he just has holes in his games, and I think that the game is too far advanced, and he's not making the adjustments. Bro, the way he got knocked out by Bisping, if I got knocked out like that by someone like that, I would train with my left hand and my right hand just fucking taped up to my head. and I'd be working on evasion techniques. I would make it drilled into my head, never drop my hands. I would have my chin taped down. I would have fucking weights holding my chin down so I can't even lift it up. And both my arms fucking taped up to my head. Just keeping it up. Just get used to that. Because my man does not keep his hands up. He's still getting clipped up. And once you close the distance and once you come into boxing range, the Luke Rockhold that's dangerous is gone. Now when you're in boxing range with Luke, you could fuck him up, like straight up. Is like the key. It seems like the key to beating Luke Rockhold is stay in boxing range, come forward, walk him down. My bad, I hit the pop filter. Come forward, walk him down, and just keep a high level of pressure. And eventually he will break. You know, those clinch, you know, in those, when you're kind of just in those grappling exchanges and, you know, clinching up against the fence, he's seen that his entire career. He trains with trained, I don't know, you know, what's really going on there, but he trained with DC and Kane. So, I mean, that's their bread and butter. They're going to hold you and they're going to just caress you for the whole fight. That's, you know, that's their specialty. They're going to grind you out, you know what I mean? So, it wasn't really smart for Branch to engage in that. And, you know, when fucking Rockhold was getting clipped up, you know, he was moments away from just a left hook sleeping him. But Rockhold was smart. He just grabbed his neck, got a tie clinch, and then just held him. You see, Branch should have been able to keep his distance a little bit and I know you're going for the kill, but once Rockhold was fucking going to clinch you, initiate the clinch, you should have, you know, used your back foot to pivot out, either cut an angle or create some distance. If Branch just 90-degree pivoted out with his back foot, or, you know, and it just create some distance somehow, cut an angle, and then just hit him, that we might have seen a huge upset. You know what I mean? And the fact that Luke got clipped up by a guy of David Branch's pedigree says a lot. Excuse me. And I'm not taking anything away from David Branch, you know. He's a good fighter. He's talented, he's skilled, and this is in no way saying anything to demean him, but it's to say that Luke Rockhold was one of the elite of the division, and now it kind of seems like there's a newer school rising up from that. You know, I feel like, you know, a lot of the top guys that, you know, we're like, all right, you know, Luke Rockhold doesn't even have to 100% compete with them for us to know that he would win. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like let's see what a Whitaker does with a Romero before it happened, or like, because could Whitaker beat Romero? You know, but we held, as the fans, we held Luke Rockhold at a high standard, that, you know, he's that elite that he's gonna beat most of the guys in the division, the top guys in the division. You know, when you look at it, when he said, I already beat those guys, I already beat Chris, I already beat Jacare, I already beat Bisping, when he was going like on that whole rant, it's, when you think about it, it's like, all right, look at your win of Jacare. You could argue Jacare won that fight. It should have been ran back. And when they were gonna run it back, he got injured, so we didn't get to see it. Look at, I mean, he fucking whooped Bisping's ass the first time, but Bisping beat him the second time. With the Chris Weidman fight, and I'm not just saying this because he's my guy, but fucking Chris made one mistake that Luke capitalized on. that cost Chris the fight. If it wasn't for that, it wouldn't. Luke Rockhold probably was gonna lose a decision. He was already gassing out. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't looking like this incredible champion in that fight. He got his back taken by someone who doesn't take backs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, really look at his wins. And look at his losses. He's going to try to put an asterisk at the Vitor fight. But whichever way you look at it, man, you got fucking slept horribly. But I'm not even really going to count that, because TRT Vitor is one of the GOATs. Facts. Like, TRT Vitor is up there with fucking Turinabol John Jones. Or, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm just saying that, like, in jest. I'm just making a joke about that. But TRT Vitor really is an extremely high-level fighter. And Luke Rockhold didn't make just one adjustment that cost him his belt, which is keep your hands up. He had his hands down. Once a flurry of shots came, he did not get into any defensive positioning. He just kept eating. Like, it looked like he was getting hit with those shots, that it was coming to him so fast he couldn't even react to it. Look at that flurry when Branch was clipping him up. It was like he didn't know what to do until he initiated a tie clinch. And if he just took a few more seconds longer, that might have been the end of the night. And when it comes to a guy like David Branch, I mean, he's a 2-weight world champion in World Series of Fighting. He defended his belts, and when he came over, he fought Krzysztof Jotko in a very boring fight. The UFC dropped him the first time because he was boring, and he said he's going to let it all hang out in this fight, which he did in the first round. I think that in the second round, Rockhold's top game is good. Not taking anything away from that, but as I get it's not the same as Jits because you're eating shots, but as a Renzo Gracie black belt, I would have expected a little more from David Branch on the ground. You know what I mean? When he was mounted, Rockhold didn't even have that crazy high of a mount. Like, he was mounting him high, but not as high like when he mounted Chris. Because when he mounted Chris Weidman, he was fucking damn near sitting on his neck. You know what I mean? So there was no way he could hip escape or anything. Chris, I'm talking about. But when Rockhold mounted Branch, I was like, why is he not going for a heel hook from mount? You know what I mean? Like, why is he not trying to create some distance? Why is he not getting the feet on the hips? Why is he not? He could, but he didn't. And then maybe I have to go back and watch it. Maybe it was higher than I thought when I was watching, but I didn't see any effort to really escape when he got mounted. I didn't see any when he got his back taken. I saw one time where he tried to, shake Luke off of him, and he almost did, but he gave Luke the time to readjust. And when Luke was about to fall off of him, and when Luke went to readjust, that's when he really should have just fucking exploded with everything in him. And he didn't. And he kept eating the shots, and he tapped out to strikes. And I think he fucked himself for tapping out to strikes, because the ref was about to step in anyway. The ref was legit about to step in. And I think the ref stepped in at the same time, and then noticed he tapped, and he's like, oh, he's tapping. But the ref was about to stop it right then. So I think David Branch only hurt himself by tapping, because you're the Who else tapped out due to strikes? Like, it's been a long time since we saw that. So for Branch to do that, he kind of really fucked himself because of his track record with the UFC already in the past. And to do that, it just doesn't look good. I don't think Sean Shelby's really going to be looking out for you unless he takes into consideration how well he did in the first round. But did he only do that well in the first round because it was such a high-level opponent? He was willing to put it out there like that? You know what I mean? If he fights, like, you know, a guy like, I don't even know, just some unranked guy, is he going to put it out there like that? I doubt it. And, you know, I just think the up-and-comers in the division, which as of right now, there's not too many. You know, Whitaker is really like kind of the only young blood in that division coming up. But those guys, you know, I think Whitaker beats Rockhold, definitely, in my opinion. What if Rockhold stands? If you stand with Rockhold in your kickboxing range, in his kickboxing range, you're gonna get your shit fucked. Because he's gonna be throwing those body kicks, those high kicks, those question mark kicks. Rockhold's not really big on teeps. I really don't know why, but he doesn't throw that many teep kicks. But he's gonna be attacking you from different levels, and he's gonna try to, like how John Jones knocked out DC. You know, you're not gonna know where it's coming from. So you're going to think it's to the body, it's up to the head, and you're slept. And he's going to throw those question mark kicks to throw you off. But if you don't do that, man, Rockhold's boxing isn't... I'm not going to take anything away from his boxing, but it's just he's missing fundamentals. And it seems like he's trying to be more stylish in his fight, which is fine, but once the style takes away from the fundamentals, you're fucked. It's gonna catch up to you eventually, which it did with Bisping. Because especially with Bisping, he just tried to box with Bisping. And regardless of how I feel about Bisping's bitch ass, he's a decent boxer, you know? So you like, and Jason Perillo is a good coach. So he's going to see those holes and he's going to expose those holes, which he did. And then after Bisping knocked him out, he told him what his problem was. He's like, you drop your right hand, buddy. Sorry, bad luck, buddy. You drop your right hand. And he still had his right hand dropped. Which is like, how are you going to go through such a devastating loss and not make the proper adjustments? And you, like, how are you going to beat Branch and then fucking stare him down? Like, how are you going to stare him down like you just beat a Jacare or you just beat a Romero? You know who's doing all the dirty work in the division? Fucking Bobby Knuckles. That's who. That's why he's got that gold strapped around his waist, because he's truly the only person in that division doing the fucking dirty work. Really? You're going to fight Branch when you had the opportunity to fight Romero? Regardless if it's a 3-rounder or not. If you believe the way you're talking, that I beat those guys already, I'm just on a whole nother level. Why? Then you could beat Romero in a 3-rounder. But why? Because you know you probably can't beat Romero in a 3-rounder. That's why you didn't take that fight. Why? What is Romero, like, number 2? So you're gonna turn down a fight against the number 2 ranked opponent to fight David Branch, who's ranked number 9, who his last fight was his first fight back in the UFC? For real? And then after that, you're going to call for your title shot, which I feel like he is owed, not because of anything, like he deserves it, but there really is a rubber match there. And, you know, to not give Luke that rubber match is really just to protect Bisping. You know what I mean? Because if Bisping really could beat Rockhold, like truly beat Rockhold, like when Rockhold's on point, then just have the rubber match. Prove everyone. Bisping should prove everyone wrong like he did last time. No one thought he was going to win, but he did. And then me personally and the general consensus of fans believe that it was because more Luke beat Luke. You know what I mean? But at this rate, man, the way Luke is looking, it's like, dude, he didn't look good. Jacare would have beat that Luke when they fought. Most of the guys in the division beat that Luke because David Branch almost beat that Luke. Now, I'm not even saying ring rust because, all right, you were out for like a year. All right, but like, you can't even blame the ring rust because you're not facing that high level of opponent where ring rust is going to come into play. You know, when Dominic Cruz fought TJ Dillashaw, who was at the top of his fucking game, and Cruz was coming off that long-ass layoff, then that comes into play. But if Dominic Cruz was fighting like, who's a random bantamweight, you know what I mean? Just some unranked random bantamweight, then ring rust really isn't going to come into play. I mean, it didn't come into play anyway. But, you know, I'm not hating on Luke. I'm not saying anything bad about Luke, but just seeing that, like, I'm not impressed by your performance. Like, I know that's a shitty impersonation, but that wasn't impressive. And for him to come, like, staring David Branch down like that, like he just did something great, kind of, if it was for showmanship, cool, but if he truly believed that, he's just delusional. You know what I mean? I do feel like Bisping does owe him that. Bisping does owe him that rubber match. Championship or not championship fight, Bisping owes him that. You know, there's a rubber match. How are you just going to leave a rubber match on the table? And especially a rubber match that could, you know, it makes sense to have. And it'll generate enough fan attention that you can make it. But, you know, that division is just totally just fucked right now. Because you got Bisping GSP, a Whittaker Bisping unification. And I saw Bisping on the Breakfast Club. I was like, what the fuck is he doing here? Like seriously, I'm like, what the fuck is Michael Bisping doing on the Breakfast Club? That was whoever his PR did, whoever is his agent fucked up on that. But he said on the Breakfast Club that the GSP fight might possibly be his last fight, and he's only looking for big money fights. And I'm so sick of people saying I'm looking for big money fights. It's like, get off the fucking teat of Conor McGregor. For real. Everyone. It's just, you know, the sport existed before Conor did. So why is everyone just following the fucking blueprint like a little bitch? Like, come up with your own stuff, man. There's other ways of being successful. Conor McGregor just found one. You know what I mean? You don't have to follow. I'm surprised people aren't coming out talking with an Irish accent at this point. Like, honestly. They might as well because of how hard they're trying to be Conor, and it's annoying. Let Conor be Conor, you be you. Like, Max Holloway has the potential to be a star being Max Holloway. You know what I mean? Tony Ferguson has the potential to be a star being Tony Ferguson. So why are people just dick riding? I don't know, man. But, you know, that's my thoughts on Rockhold Branch. I know that was kind of lengthy, and I really didn't mean to go off on Luke that hard. Like, I didn't start this video being like, I'm going to shit on Luke Rockhold this entire time, but You look like shit, my man. I don't know any other way to put it. You got the W. I mean, I'll give you that. You got the W, but you looked like shit. You got clipped up 61 seconds in that fight. Like, what? Again, and that's the thing, man. This whole build up to the fight, he was belittling David Branch so much. So when the guy you belittle so much fucking clips you up, you look so much worse. Because the way he was talking, it was like he's going to dismantle this guy so soon. He's nothing. He really doesn't even belong in there with me. And, you know, Chael Sonnen always said, you never shit on your opponent, because if you lose to them, you look worse than that. You know what I mean? So he said it's always good to give your opponent credits and all that. Because if you big up your opponent, when you beat them, you look even better because you were talking about how dangerous and how great they were, which is 100% true. But after that, Mike Perry versus that guy. I don't even remember his name. I'm not going to look his name up. Actually, I am, because I have a point to make. Mike Perry's calling for Robbie Lawler. All right, and let's keep in mind that this guy that he fought on short notice is a lightweight who didn't cut weight. You know, Thiago Alves was supposed to be the opponent, but because of Hurricane Irma, he couldn't come through. He didn't leave in time. And because of that, he got this guy, and my bad, I'm just looking this shit up. Yeah, so now Mike Perry is calling for Robbie Lawler and all that, and I'm not for that whatsoever. And I know Mike Perry has a lot of cock-riding fans, and I may offend them, but I'm sorry. I just gotta speak my piece. I get, because he has a cock-riding fan base, that he's getting this giant push. But my man Alan Jouban dismantled Mike Perry. Fucking wrecked Mike Perry. Did we forget about that? Because that wasn't too long ago. That might have been like under a year ago. That was that Paige Van Zandt Karate Hottie card in Sacramento. Dude, that wasn't too long ago. That was like in November or December. So, I mean, now that was a little while ago, but it really wasn't that long ago. Jouban dismantled him. Stuck and moved the entire time. Kept his range. Clipped him up. Dropped him on multiple occasions. Fucked his shit up. And then they give him Jake Ellenberger. They gave Perry Jake Ellenberger, who was cut from the UFC, came back, begged for his spot back. Then he beat Matt Brown. After he beat Matt Brown, they gave him Jorge Masvidal. And he lost that because his toe got fucking stuck in the fence. And then after that, they gave him Mike Perry. But, you know, they gave him a ranked opponent so he could get into the rankings. Look at the level they gave. So they gave Mike Perry Jake Ellenberger, a easy person to get into the rankings, and they gave Alan Jouban Gunnar Nelson, who's a fucking beast. You know, and it's like he's getting a push. I get that, but he is getting these crazy knockouts, but he's not getting it against extremely high level opponents. If he slept Alan Jouban like that, I would be all for it. I'd be like, let's go Mike Perry. Perry Lawler, let's go. I want to see that. But they gave him Jake Ellenberger at the end of his career. And then gave him this guy, fucking Alex Reyes. And I don't even remember if I've seen Alex Reyes fight before. I haven't really heard of him before. And I'm trying to look this dude up right now. I'm trying to see who Alex Reyes has under his belt. Give me 1 second, guys. And this was his first fight in the UFC. Are you kidding me, man? You're going to give this man Robbie Lawler for knocking out a guy it's his first fight in the UFC, and he's not even in the weight class. He's a weight class below. When he weighed in, he couldn't even weigh in at the 170-pound limit. Like, anyone can look like a vicious knockout artist when you're fighting cans. I'm sorry. I'm not hating on the man. Mike Perry's got skill. Mike Perry's got knockout power. But when he faced someone who's a high-level opponent, he got fucking dismantled. And they've been padding his record this entire time. And if he fights someone extremely high level and proves it and shuts me up, I'm all for it. But to call out the number 1 ranked, and he actually might get it, dude. I don't even think he's really worthy of getting beat up by Robbie Lawler. You know, I don't think he earned that position yet to be fighting a Robbie Lawler. And I'm saying that because we've seen him get dismantled by a high-level, well-rounded fighter. And it seems like he had to face no repercussion for that. And the only reason I'm saying that is because it's not fair. It's not fair to a guy like Alan Jouban. It's not even fair. Let's see if Mike Perry could get past an Albert Tumenov. Really? Let's see if Mike Perry could get past the Albert Tumenov. Let's see if Mike Perry could get past the Gunnar Nelson or a Ponzinibbio. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'm for that, actually. Let's see Ponzinibbio Perry. I'm not against seeing him fight high-level opponents. I'm not against that. But Robbie Lawler, if he knocks out Robbie Lawler, he's up for a title shot. And if he does knock out Robbie Lawler, he deserves a title shot. But the thing is, I feel like, me personally, I don't feel like he's earned a shot at Robbie. But hey, I can't hate the player. You know what I mean? Like, I can't hate the player. He's doing everything right. He's got a fan base. He's knocking guys out. He's using his mic time he's capitalizing on his mic time to get high-level opponents, to call out high-level opponents, to work his way in the rankings. I give him all that credit for that. But I just feel like he's on a hype train right now. And he's getting pushed. And then the thing I can't understand is how can the hype train get derailed so clearly, but it still keeps on trucking? That's my confusion in this whole situation, is how are we pretending that didn't happen? And yeah, I get he gets vicious KOs, but dude, my whole tune would be changed if he got a vicious KO against Jouban. I'd probably be rocking with the guy heavy. But Jouban and it wasn't even he lost the fight. He got dismantled in that fight. And then people are praising him for getting this crazy KO, which he did. Entertaining as fuck. Vicious KO. A million props to that. Even the Jake Ellenberger KO. That shit was vicious. A million props for that, man. But let's not go jumping the gun. And another reason is, if you do feed him to Robbie Lawler, and if he's not ready, you really did kill off a potential star then. You know, why don't you build him up a little steadier? And, you know, I'm not saying anything against the guy. I don't hate the guy. None of that. But I just don't think it's fair to the people in the division that have been working so hard and grinding so hard, especially when he still has something to prove. If he beat a guy like a Gunner or a Ponzinibbio, then I'd be for it. But he got exposed and never had to answer for it, and kept getting pushed. Even Conor McGregor had to rematch Nate, and regardless of what you feel in the fucking decision, he had to answer for it, which he did, and he came out victorious. So keep that train moving, keep that going, because he had to answer for it. He had to earn his shit back. He took the risk. Nate Diaz could have finished him twice, and then his career could have been fucking over. But you see, that's how you know Conor McGregor, regardless of his ego, he really wanted to prove to himself that he could beat Nate Diaz and make the adjustments. Otherwise, he would have kept on trucking. Now, but good KO, man. I give him props for that. He did that shit in like under 90 seconds. But keep in mind, guy. All right, let me say this and see what you guys have to say for that. Gil Guardado, Thomas Noel, Joshua Aviles, Victor Meza, Quinton McCottrell, Anthony Ross, Aaron Belcher, Darren Smith Jr., George Sanchez, Alejandro Batista. Does that mean anything to you guys? If that does, let me know in the comments. But do those names mean anything to you guys? Do you guys even know who that was? Who those people are? Probably not. I know I never heard of them. Those are Alex Reyes' last opponents he beat. And though that was in Fight Club. Yes, a promotion called Fight Club, King of the Cage, Gladiator Challenge, Chaos in the Cage, Karma Fight Nights, Fight Circuit MMA. These are the promotions that this guy's coming off of. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is that Alex Reyes' resume. And all I'm saying is, if you guys think that beating a guy of this caliber earns you a number 1 ranked fighter, then we just view the sport differently. Wonder Boy beat Johnny Hendricks, who was ranked number 2. And instead of giving them a title shot, you know what they gave him? All right, man, you got to fight Rory McDonald, the number 1 ranked opponent. So, you know what I mean? Like, even after beating the number 2 ranked opponent, that didn't earn him a title shot. He had to go beat the number 1 ranked opponent. So how is the rules just like so different for one guy, and then this guy could beat someone whose first fight in the UFC, who took this fight on 3 days notice, 2 days notice, who is a lightweight who couldn't even weigh in at the minimum. I know I'm repeating myself, but first fight in the UFC. You know what I mean? So how does that warrant that? And that's my whole thing to that. Like, he had a great victory. Good for that. But this guy isn't even an unranked opponent. This guy is a newcomer to the UFC. And I'm not taking anything against those guys, because you can never know how good those guys could be. I.e. Lando Venata. But even Venata lost to David Tamor. You know what I mean? So there's some motherfuckers in this game. And I'm just saying that it seems a little padded. That's all. And he's getting a big push. That's my whole thing for that. And then I think it's unfair to him because it's taking credit away from him to people like me. You know what I mean? Who's coming out saying shit like this when he had a great performance and a great KO. And and again, this is nothing against Mike Perry. I'm going to reiterate that. This is nothing against Mike Perry. This is more to the UFC brass. Like, I get it's entertainment. I get it's marketing, but it's just not fair to the guys that have been grinding for a long time. That's all I'm saying. And, shout out Uriah Hall. Fucking, that, got clipped in the first round. Looking like the shit was about to be over. Like he was about to get clipped up and submitted. Came back and lit his ass up with that right hand. And Jocko's a pretty tough motherfucker. So shout out Uriah Hall, man, getting it done. I'm glad. He was really like centimeters away from retiring after that Gegard loss. Like he legit, I'm pretty sure he was retired for a while, like without even saying it to anyone. Like I think I'm pretty sure he was done, but he decided to cut. But he didn't make it official because he wasn't sure about it. He came back, went through some adversity, and went through some adversity, and then back in the win column against ranked opponents. So. A few good performances against some high level guys. That's kind of like some title run shit. So shout out to him. And I know this video has a different tone, but I just gotta call it how I see it. I'm really not trying to hate on Luke. I'm really not trying to hate on Mike Perry, but I just don't. I just got to be honest. I'm gonna be honest and call it how I see it, and it's really how I see it. I'm not saying I'm right, and anyone whose opinion differs is wrong, but this is just my opinion and how I see it. But congratulations to Luke for getting the win. He's back on track. Let's see how he does against another high level guy. I think Romero is really the only thing left for him. I don't want to see Luke fighting down anymore. I don't want to see Luke fight anyone else but Yoel Romero. A 3-rounder or a 5-rounder. The reason I'm saying Yoel is because I'm pretty sure Weidman Jacare is being targeted for 219 in December. So that's something I definitely want to see. And I'm probably going to be doing a video on that. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, man, again, I'm just saying it how I see it. I think the game's passing Luke by a little bit at this point if he's not making the adjustments, because it's simple fundamentals that are costing him. And at this level, he shouldn't really even be having those problems. And with Mike Perry, good shit, man. Good knockout. But I need to see it against higher level guys. That's all I'm saying. You already know. It's Mastermind MMA.